Early morning Leidenburg and Mpumalanga. The mechanics and support crews have had very little sleep. In fact, some of them haven't had any at all. This is, after all, a 1,000-kilometer event, and with the biggest day ahead, it meant that the cars had to be in tip-top shape to brave the mountains, mist, rocks, forests, humps, jumps and bumps of the second leg. The championship battle after day one and a short prologue. In the first leg over 167 k's, Alfie Cox and navigator Rolf Pitchford led by almost 4 minutes, with defending champion Hannes Grobler also in a proudly South African Nissan hardbody a long way back after breaking his vehicle and incurring time penalties. It's day two of the Toyota Dealer 1000 and it's a tough day. There are two legs. Leg one consists of 314 kilometers with 75 k's of open section, and then leg two, 244 kilometers, totaling 560 kilometers of very, very hard racing. Uncompromising and tough racing it would be as well. Cox was philosophical about his chances on day two.
We got, I think, a little bit lucky because Hannes obviously broke and he had a 13-minute lead on us yesterday. He was really pushing hard, and so short, fallen in our hands. But the problem is it's 900 kilometers still to go, and you know, that's two races on their own, and we've just got to bring this car home at the moment now. We don't have a lot of people right on our tail. Obviously, we're going to just try and keep it smooth and look after the car. That's basically all. No racing, just 900 kilometers is a long way.
Cox and Pitchford have won 3 races in a row in the championship series, and they know and trust each other. Listen to the in-car communication.
90 left. 90 left, yeah. And then over the river, sweep to the left.
The man in second place in a Ford was Manfred Schroeder with his co-driver Alec Harris. They were just 3 minutes and 55 seconds behind the Nissan Motorsport lads and leading Class D. The Ford 4-litre engine sounded like it was asking to be manhandled some more. Third was filled by Gavin Cronje and Robin Houghton. Cronje's brother Mark had a horrendous crash the day before and was taken to hospital for concussion, and no doubt he would have had that in the back of his mind. Still, he started off in a controlled and smooth manner, clearly meaning business on the third leg of the Toyota Dealer 1000 over 314 k's.
200 meters, keep right here. 100, turn hairpin right. Turn hairpin right.
In the manufacturer's race for supremacy, the Toyota boys were leading the Nissans by a healthy 75 points. So as always, the Japanese manufacturers dominating the ABSA SA Off-Road Championship.
Right and left over ditch. 300 meters, T-junction right. 200, T-junction turn right. 50.
The E-Class leaders were KwaZulu-Natal's Chris Visser and Jaapie Badenhorst, who impressed all and sundry with their solid approach and reliable Tyco trucks Toyota. They were 5 minutes ahead of Zane Pierce and Henny Vosloo in class. Up next was defending champion Hannes Grobler and Nav Francois Jordan. They started in class, but in effect they were more than 3 hours behind. Grobler explains that he believes it's not a lost cause.
It was very tight. We enjoyed the stage. It was like a rally stage. But unlucky for us, we broke a front hub. We managed to put a new one in. The service crew was one in for us, and we fixed it. And we got to the end. But we've got now a penalty of about 3 hours. So we're about 3.5 hours behind Alfie. It's not going to be easy to catch, but it's still a long way. Today I think it's about 500 kilos. Tomorrow it's another 400 kilos. And it's another 2 national races. You know, anything can happen. So we're going to give it and see where we get.
That never-say-die attitude has seen the Burley man win no less than 3 championships spanning 19 years. And he was clearly on a mission. So little time, so many cars to overtake. The Gerard du Plessis found his safest combination in their Jimco 3.4 Porsche were leading Class A and were also the first space frame in the race. Gary Berthold and his partner in crime, Siegfried Rousseau, was 6 minutes behind Cox, but just 65 seconds behind the Duplessis car in Class A. Clint Gibson and Marcel Trefouille were chasing after them in the 8th place. They, incidentally, were 18th on the championship log with 18 points, so a good haul of points were imperative for them. The Porter with a heavy breathing, that's Shamir Viriawa and VZ Van Zyl pottering along in a 4.6-litre car. They performed well in the prologue and held their own very nicely during the first leg. Now they would have to prove that their car could stay the distance. Navigator Boto Schwegler and driver Henry Zermatten shooting for their 21st consecutive finish in an off-road, a world record. They started off with a bang and looked very likely to add to their astounding tally. The talkative driver was obviously trying to look after the world mark, but at the same time, be competitive. The 2002 national champ Duncan Foss and his co-driver Henny Tersteeg had encountered bottom ball joint problems, which recurred again on leg 2. This left them hours behind the rest of the contenders and with virtually no hope of victory. Up front, Cox was going as cautiously as a man with racing in his blood can go. The Dakar Rally stalwart and his Nissan Motorsport team are looking for win number 31 of the last 39 events since the start of the 2001 season. And judging by their cautious but effective approach, Cox and Pitchford were right on track. And we wondered, did the race note say anything about caution livestock? Perhaps not.
They all think the farmer's bringing food.
Yeah. Okay, it's narrow there, through the rocks.
Still, Cox was controlling things nicely. Schroeder and Harris, meanwhile, were going as they predicted. Their class of vehicle could not match the other classes for speed over this type of terrain, and they were just trying to hang tough in the Ford, but they lost 11 minutes to Cox on this stage. It's a very hard and very shaky day at the office. Cronje and Houghton were still in 3rd place, but when they looked in their rearview mirror, they would have seen the ominous red flash of an angry Nissan. Krobler was on the charge. Like a proverbial bull in a china shop, he was catching all and sundry, and in less than 150 k's, he'd caught up to the Castrol Toyota. Riding along with Cronje in car and staying tuned, it wasn't long before the barrel-chested Krobler barreled past the white, red and green livery 2.7 in a cloud of red and Mpumalanga dust. Sayonara, see you later. But the story of the day was Alfie Cox, nursing his car around yet still going away from the rest. Just after halfway on leg 2, he was enjoying a 60-second lead over Clinton Gibson, but the man who had nailed his colours to the mast was Krobler. The 2003 and 04 champ had picked up 10 minutes on Cox, not enough to be a threat, but enough to impress everyone. Further back, Cronje and Houghton soldiered on bravely. In car now with Chris Visser and Jaapie Baardnorst in their Tyco Trucks Toyota Hilux 2.7 and going well in Class E. The route consisted of a lovely marriage of open road as well as some rocky sections, and then you could also take the odd swim. Further back, the Space Train cars were also doing their thing. but being slightly more cautious. Gary Bertelt driving in his normal style, all out or foot in yoke. This part of the route also doubled back on itself, so you could find out exactly who you were shooting at and how far ahead they were of you. As for the Toyotas, they certainly felt the pressure in racing in the Toyota Dealer 1000. Don't you always want to do well for your supplier? Luckily, moderate temperatures too throughout most of the day, so it wasn't too heavy on car or on man. Gibson Anchor 3 going well in the Gibson plant hire space frame car, and they were picking up time and positions as they sped along. "60 kilometers from the designated service point, or DSP, an in-car with Mark Corbett and Nabs Juan Moore, who were batting along at a fair old clip, even though they were more than 2 hours off the pace. And with a race of this length, here's the reason why it's good to just keep it going. They shoot past a stricken Shamir Variawa and VZ Van Sale, who ground to a halt with gearbox problems. Meanwhile, Duncan Foss was trying to get the momentum going in the all-new Nissan ST Class 4-litre, but even though the crew were giving it stick, the hard body was sounding rather the worse for wear. A serious misfire that prompted Foss and Terstegen to take a peek under the bonnet. Luckily, they were able to do something about it and to keep it going. Zermatten and Schwegler going well in the Ryobi Mitsubishi. Top Car magazine editor Dion Skuman and Top Car television producer Jan Simon had a blind on day one in their Nissan 3.3, and they just picked up where they left off. They were 11th overall, but soon after this, their trouble started, and they took almost 6 hours to complete the 314 Ks.
The African savannah at dusk.